when you get home, it is a different world. The respect that you give and that you get at work is different from home. You get love at home, not necessarily respect at home. Understand that you are entering a different world is the first step. All right, welcome back to the Next Level Dad podcast. And in today's episode, I'm going to be discussing a topic specific to firefighters and first responders. And the topic is why coming home can feel harder than going into work. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, at work, everything runs smooth for the most part, right? There's structure, there's respect, there's a chain of command. You have all of these different acronyms that keep you informed, in line, and basically able to follow a lot of different directions. You have SOGs, you have SOPs, you have all of these different acronyms, right? And sometimes the job is so spelled out and structured that you have to purposely deviate from the rules to get disorganized because everything is spelled out for you. Everything is written out, the flow of the day and everything that you need to follow, you just kind of need to lockstep go in line with it. So you show up, you get a pass down, what happened, maybe some things to look out for, maybe your piece of apparatus is doing this, whatever. It's all structured, it's all spelled out for you so that you don't have to think much and it's just kind of step in and go. And that's why for me, I wanted to make this episode because I feel like for first responders, it's actually easier to get into work than to get into home where things are more chaotic. There is no structure, there is no rank, there is no flow of the days for the most part. I mean, there could be, right? You have school and you have things that you got going on, but if you have little kids, the flow of the day could mean a lot of different things. And now I'm not saying that I prefer being at work than to be at home with my family, but at times, especially when you have little kids like I do, it feels like going into work can be a lot easier because at home things get overwhelming with the family life. So I'm getting off shift in the morning and now I have to transition from professional firefighter to dad to home, switch over to the loving, caring, and supportive father, husband. Sometimes that's easier said than done. A lot of the times it's easier said than done. You get home and you have this expectation. I know that I used to have an expectation. Most definitely that was the case for me. I used to expect things to be a certain way. And when they weren't, it would just upset me. It would frustrate me because I didn't have a game plan. I would never really mentally downshift when I got off of work and when I transitioned into my home life. I was always in a go mentality, working on a paramedic rescue in the West Los Angeles area. Sleep is not necessarily your friend because you are busy running calls, going to emergencies, and it was never something that I even thought about. I never truly thought, hey, maybe I should have a game plan on my transition when I get home. So, one of the first things that you notice when you walk in the door is that your kids aren't asking you, hey, how was work last night? How did your shift go? How many calls did you run? How much sleep did you get? Right? Your kids aren't asking that. Maybe your wife does. Hopefully she does. But what are your kids doing? They might be sleeping still, or they might be yelling. There might be toys everywhere. They might be screaming at each other. There might be crying. And for a lot of us, that is the moment when you start to feel a little overwhelmed. You notice that nobody is coming to greet you. Nobody's saying good morning. How was your night? Maybe the baby's a little grouchy. Maybe your kids aren't morning people, right? There's not a lot of consistency when you get home. Like I said, maybe hopefully with your wife, but aside from that, there's a lot of inconsistencies. They're not worried about how my night went. But I still had that expectation. I still thought maybe somebody's going to ask. At work, what is it like? People respond to structure. At work, people respond to rank, authority, all of that. At home, what does your family respond to? Well, for me, my family responds to connection. And connection has been a very, very big thing in my home. But what does that actually mean? Respond to connection. For me, that means taking the time to listen, getting down to their level, making eye contact, most definitely not looking at my phone as I walk in the door, scrolling, responding to a text message, email, whatnot. It means asking them how they slept. Maybe they did something really cool, they drew something really cool, celebrating that win. We have a 3-year-old in our house, recently potty trained, and that is a huge win. For parents, you know how big that is, right? It's taking that time to connect. High five, knuckles, great job, woohoo. All of those things, showing enthusiasm, hugs, kisses. Another thing, as I enter my door, a lot of the times there's emotions. Emotions are high. Lots of emotions, lots of crying. We're a house full of ladies, girl dad. And that crying has been something for me that I've actually had to take the time to understand. Not a big crier, not that I'm this macho man or anything like that, but I'm just not the type to get all teary eyed. But in my house, there's a lot of crying. So you have to take the time to ask. You have to take the time to show that you care. You have to take the time to connect, getting at the eye level, physical expression, as well as the emotional connection, getting to the eye level, hand on the back, all of that stuff. All of that stuff is connection. And that is what I found that my family responds to the most, because entering their world is what is important to them, not the fire department. Establishing that connection by me having the intention to enter their world is where things start to get smooth. I start to enter my home peacefully, but that takes time, effort, and intention. Because what I don't want to do is enter their world without making a connection, which is the home, and expecting them to understand what I just left, that professional, working, structured environment. That means that our worlds are going to clash, and that is going to be chaos. And more than likely, it's going to be chaos for me because I'm the one coming from that environment. What that's going to create for me is more stress, less relaxation, less connection. And ultimately, what I want is just a peaceful home. I just want to come home and not be stressed out. I don't want my mind to be running everywhere. I don't want to be anxious, frustrated because of the mess. But like I said earlier, that takes intention. That intention needs to be from me creating that peace by creating that connection with them. If I come home, and I've done it plenty of times, whose toys are these? Why are there a million shoes everywhere? Does nobody understand that there's a shoe closet you can just throw your shoes in? Why is there stuff everywhere? Why? Now I'm creating this energy inside of me so early in the day, right? That I really don't want to create. I'm not mentally accepting. I haven't mentally prepared or had a game plan. And like I said, this is from experience. No game plan, no mental check in, and then you just go. That's a recipe for disaster. That's a not being aware of your thoughts or a game plan when you come home. And that is stress and that is chaos. At work, leadership is leading by example. Say what you need, and then you get after it. You do all of the things. At home, leadership is by connection and by doing some of the things that I mentioned. That's what I've learned over the course of these last few years. Have I done it the wrong way? Oh, yeah. Have I done it the wrong way over and over and over? Yes. Barking orders. Why is this? Why that? Why is the trash can full of food? Nobody can change the trash bag around here? Oh my gosh. I'll do it. It's okay. I just worked. I'll take out the trash. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I got it. That's not going to go well. It never goes well. Trust me, you might already know yourself. It just doesn't go well. Condescending, sarcastic. It's all right. It's all right. I got it. Stuff we say at work. All of these little things. Your family is going to go right above them. It's going to go over them. You're going to be the only one who understands that joke. And that energy that you are creating inside of you is just going to start building because you aren't understanding or acknowledging that you're stepping into a different world. We are stepping into another world. Just like the fire department is a world, the business world, the gym world, the home world. There's all these little worlds, sports. So when you enter a home, there is a flow, there is just a vibe at home that is different from anywhere else. And you aren't preparing yourself by wearing that uniform from the work world, from the fire department, first responder world, and you try to wear that uniform at home, it doesn't go well. So what happens when you get home? The language of the home is love. It's not necessarily respect, and that's a lot of where a big difference is. At work, in a professional working environment, the language is professionalism. At home, the language is love. You get love from your family, your loved ones. And that for me was really hard to understand, especially when there's little kids. And what do you mean? There's like Little kids are love. Yeah, you love them, but it is chaotic because they don't listen all the time. And you're coming from an environment where people are just listening. People are consistent. Not a lot of running around, not a lot of mess. And so that's what I mean by young kids at home. They just don't understand. They're just being kids. The moods are up and down. You never really know what you're going to get when you come home. What are you coming home to? Sometimes it's like the TV, you open the door and it's like, "Daddy, daddy, daddy." And they come and everyone hugs you and you can't even put your bags down cuz everybody's just hanging on you. I would say that's probably like a quarter of the time. The other half is they don't acknowledge you at all. You're like, "Good morning," and maybe somebody says good morning back. That's probably like half the time. And then the other quarter is yelling and screaming and fighting, all of this craziness, but still nobody acknowledging you. So, probably 3/4 of the time, at least for me, come home and nobody's saying anything. But that's okay because I have that expectation. I didn't always have that expectation. I didn't always understand it. I thought I get home and I feel like people should at least greet me, say good morning, say something. But what would happen is no one says anything. I'm like, okay, all right, yeah, good morning to you. And then you start this little energy that is just totally unnecessary. And did that ever work? No, never worked. Nobody ever was like, oh, maybe I should start saying good morning. It just didn't, that doesn't work. That work stuff doesn't work at home because at work, things are consistent. You say good morning, you get acknowledged, and someone says good morning to you. Mostly, right? Hey, how was your day off? How was your class? How was your meeting? How was this and that? And then you talk because it is a professional working environment. Your responses are immediately. Somebody calls from another station. What happens? Hey, man, can you handle this for me? I forgot to do this or that. You get right on it. Chief calls. Hey, you guys have a morning thing that we need you to go to. Boom, you go. You do it. You get immediate response because that's what a professional working environment is. At home, what's the response? It's not immediate. Maybe you get a response, maybe not. You get home, the wife is multitasking, getting the kids ready, making lunches, making breakfast. Kids are moving. The home has its own pace that you're inserting yourself to. Nobody cares about professional mentality, firefighter dad. Nobody cares. There's no rank here, there's no authority. You're not firefighter at home. That's that, and that for some people, and like I said, for me for a long time, it's like, hey, can nobody can even acknowledge me? Gosh. All right, it's trash. Again, the trash. So much food in here. You guys want cockroaches in this house? You guys just leave all of the trash full. Gosh. For me, growing up, we had a cockroach here and there, and I hate cockroaches, so that's why I'm big on the trash at night. Just take the trash out. If I'm not home, please, somebody, right? But when you start barking and you start talking like, oh, you couldn't take it out, what most likely response are you going to get? Oh, yep, I'll get it right on it. No, probably not. You're going to get ugh, gosh. More than likely, that's what you're going to guess. That's what you're going to get. And how does that make you feel? That reaction. right? Because you haven't transitioned. You haven't transitioned. What's it going to make you feel? You're like, okay, I was at work for the last 3 days, right? I was working. What? Nobody can start by taking out the trash? Man, it's not going to go well. You're already setting yourself up for an unstable, unhealthy morning. Through that, you're going to feel frustrated. And because nobody's acknowledging you, nobody's acknowledging that you like these things done, what's going to happen? You're going to get some attention. You're going to seek that attention, whether you're thinking about it or not, subconsciously. You're going to say something. You know what? Everybody's ignoring me. I'm going to say something. I'm going to get some attention here. You might say a little something snappy to get a response. You're going to get a response, but is it going to help? No. Right? Now you said something rude, and now you made your wife, or now you made your daughter or somebody feel crappy right before school, and then you're going to feel crappy because you don't want to make your family feel crappy. And now they're going to take that energy into school to start the day. Why? Because you came home and you couldn't fully disconnect from that professional firefighter dad, that rank, that structure. You couldn't disconnect from it. And that takes time. But nobody's listening. Yeah. Well, saying something snappy most definitely is not the answer. You're going to get the attention, but you're going to get the wrong kind of attention. You don't want to make your family feel bad to start the day. And so, how do we get there? Right? How did we get here? I'm mad. You're mad. Everyone's mad. That's a complete loss. Everyone's losing at that point. And why is that? Because we feel the loss of identity. We feel the loss of structure that we're accustomed to, that we just literally left, because these working environments are so buttoned up and structured. It's so hard for us to disconnect. And it happens to everybody. I talk to so many guys and gals that have had this exact thing happen to them over and over and over. I've had the conversations at the station so many times. The transition from structure to chaos is difficult. It's one that if you're not mentally checked in and ready for, you're just going to say the wrong things. And it's always your fault. It's always your fault because you're the one entering the home. The home was already flowing the way the home flows. That's why things are different on your second or third day home. You're not so snappy, right? You just woke up and you're adjusted to the flow of the home, right? But it's when you get off of work and when you leave that working environment that you're not mentally checked in. And now you start calling people out left and right, like, boom, hey, why is this? Why is that, man? Because we have this mentality like, hey, man, say it how it is. That just doesn't work at home. Say it how it is. Doesn't work. You're not helping. You're just being annoying. And I was just being annoying. And I don't always do it the right way. So when I don't, I know I'm being annoying. I understand that. But it takes time and it takes awareness of where you are. You're not being annoying because you want to, because you don't want to connect with your family. Like, I'm not being annoying that way. It's just something that if I'm not mentally aware of, I'm creating this animosity. I'm trying to connect with my family, but I'm actually doing the opposite when I show up that way. I'm not creating a connection. I'm tearing that connection slowly every single time I get snappy with the kids or get snappy with the wife or whatnot. Now, am I perfect? No, most definitely not. But it does take work and it does take awareness to get to the point of reflecting, of understanding, and it takes time. I did it the wrong way for a lot of years, over and over and over and over. And that's why I'm doing this here today, so that hopefully you can take some of this and apply it to your own life. Because I know I am not the only one who has difficulties with this. And when you get home, it's not like, hey, you're consciously thinking, I'm a firefighter or I'm a police officer. And no, you're not thinking like that. You're like, hey, I'm just I'm a loving, caring father. But it's all subconscious. All of these reactions are subconscious. You're doing them subconsciously because you're not approaching the home life with a game plan. Of course, you want to be loving, caring, understanding father. Last thing you want is to be annoying or hurtful or say hurtful things. It's not an awareness. It's subconscious. It's just built into it. And if you do it for long enough, it's hard to disconnect. Be loving, caring, silly dad is always the easiest, but getting there is not always easy, right? Understanding the work pace, the home pace, the family pace. Your home pace is different. And one of the biggest things that I've come to understand is that there is no control at home. There's plenty of control in your professional working life. You can try to control as much as you can, but when you get home, you have to relinquish control. You just have to let it go. Just giving myself that space helps me so much. It helps me understand and transition into that home life, that home pace. Just relinquish the control. It's okay. And what's another big factor when we get home that we need to control is your mood, and in particular, your patience. You ever notice how you are at work and you put up with so much? We put up with so many things because we deal with the public, and the public gets our utmost patience, right? Because you got to be professional. You're a servant of the community, and they're saying any old thing to you, and you just have to hold it and hold the line and be professional. But then when you get off and you get home, any little thing annoys you. Any little thing that your kid or your wife does sets you off. You're like, oh gosh, how many times have I done that? A lot. So then I begin to ask myself, like, why am I so patient at work, but not at home with my loved ones? Why am I like that? Well, our patience is not infinite, it is finite. And for a lot of us, we bring that fire department into our home. We carry that work energy into our home. And maybe somebody said something to you the day before or that morning that struck a nerve. Maybe they were joking, but you just didn't like it and you held on to it, carried it all the way home, and you allowed it to bother you. I know that's definitely happened to me. Carried it, didn't allow myself to really decompress or reflect on it. And then I step into my house. My family has no idea how my day went, what this person said to me, because we're just dealing with so many personalities in the fire station and in the public. Who's going to pay for that comment? Who is going to pay? Right? My family. And a lot of these things we carry subconsciously, not even thinking about how they're going to come out later. done it plenty of times. We have to be aware of these things. We have to allow ourselves time to decompress. You have to allow yourself time to decompress when you're getting home, whether it's your drive, you go straight home, whatever your routine is, if you go to the gym right after. But if you're coming home, you have to allow yourself time to decompress. And for me, I listen to audiobooks to and from work, and I find them very helpful. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast, but for a while now, it's all audiobooks. And the most recent book that I've been listening to is Your Erroneous Zones by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And he's got a long list of just awesome, really helpful self-help books. And I just love him as an author. That book for me has helped me better understand how much I worry about things that don't even matter. They do not even matter. They don't make a difference in my life. They don't move the needle. Some things that people say, things that people do, things that I think about, things that I waste time on. So many things that you waste time on. Your Erroneous Zones. It's an excellent book. You can also listen to podcasts. Ed Milet is a great uplifting podcast. I just love listening to him. He has such good energy, such a good vibe, and the energy that he speaks into me, and I soak it up, and I try to, as much as I can, transfer that into my home energy and into my family, because he is such a wonderful speaker. Ed Milet is awesome. So whatever you listen to, whether it's books or podcasts, it's always very, very important to decompress and create good energy within you so that you can transfer that energy into your family, into your home life, so that when you come home, you aren't being annoying. You aren't being that barking dad like, hey, why isn't this or why isn't that? But that's going to require you to have a game plan, a plan of attack. So when you come home, you aren't just mindlessly walking into a a landmine. You have to have a game plan to shed that firefighter, police officer, paramedic, first responder identity of structure, accountability, integrity, SOPs, SOGs, all of these cool things. Because how we lead at home is not how we lead at work. It's a totally different environment. It's totally different. And we need to better understand that. And that comes with a game plan. And how I choose to lead at home is through patience and presence. And what does that actually mean? For me, it means that I don't have to say anything. I don't have to react to anything. I don't have to fix anything. I don't have to solve anyone's problems. I just have to be there physically. My presence alone is enough. As a loving, caring husband and father, that's enough. You are enough. If you want to be quiet, that's enough. If you want to joke around, fart around, be silly, that's good too. But there isn't a right or wrong way. Well, there is a wrong way. There isn't a perfect way to show up. If you don't have anything to say, that's okay. Just your presence as the man of the house, as the father, that's enough. And for me, that's been a very important lesson that I've had to understand. I just need to be there. I don't need to say anything. I don't need to have the perfect words. I just need to be there. So that's one of the practical things that I feel like I can leave you guys with when I get home. Just show up. Just be there. But you have to be aware of where your mind is at. You cannot be wearing the uniform, the identity of a firefighter, and then expect to walk in your house and expect the same type of structure, expect the same type of immediate responses that we get. Shed all of that, shed all of the professionalism. So, what can you do? You can sit in your car, in your driveway, on the street, wherever, for 5 minutes and do that. Shed that identity. You have to be mentally aware and checked in of your thoughts and your mindset as you enter the home. You are entering a different world. And I've done this and I do it consistently. But have I done it the wrong way too? Yeah. I sit there a couple of minutes and what do? I grab my phone. Subconsciously, it always goes to social media or emails or something. And then you start scrolling. And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh man, what am I doing? I'm buying these sunglasses that I don't need. Like, what? Why is it always sunglasses or a hat or something? Don't get on social media. Sit there with the intention of decompressing. Because if you sit there and scroll social media, you're probably going to feel worse. You're probably going to start comparing yourself to other people's highlights. And like I said, buy something you don't need. There's a lot of research on breath work, and a lot of it's really good and it's really helpful. And it can really make a difference in how you feel. So there's stuff that you can look up. And if you do it, man, I think that's really, really helpful. But maybe you aren't into the breath work. Maybe you just want to sit there and reflect and think. Well, one of the biggest things that I've done is just lower the expectations. Sometimes we bring the professional firefighter expectations into the home. That does not go well. So lower your high expectations and let all that stuff go. Expect chaos. Expect the house to be messy. Expect the kids to be acting like kids, screaming, yelling, jumping, doing flips, a bike in the house, a scooter. I walk in the house and there's a bike right here. I'm like, why is there a bike in the house? Why? Dude, it's like, okay, just expect the chaos and it will go a lot better because kids are going to be kids. We were all kids. I know that for me. What was I like? I was very hyperactive and I was never still. I was climbing fences, climbing trees, jumping off the roof, just doing all types of kid things. Back in those days, we used to get smacked or whooped. Got a lot of whoopings, but that's a conversation for another day. Another thing is when you walk into the house with a smile on your face. Really focus on that connection, getting to their level. If your family's still in bed, good mornings, hugs, kisses, I love yous, how's your sleep? Not expecting anybody to ask you how was your sleep? How was your night? No, we need to establish that connection because we're walking into their world. For sure, hug and a kiss to the wife. First things first, but really focusing on that connection, on a smile. Don't come into the house correcting, barking orders, setting the wrong tone, setting the tone that now everybody's walking on eggshells. You ever had that? I most definitely have. I can see it in my kids' eyes. They're just like looking at each other like, whoa, right? Because you didn't fully disconnect, haven't shed that identity, haven't shed that professional structure that I just came from for the last 3, 4, 5 days. It's hard, man. You have to check in because that's definitely not the face of my family that I want them to see. I don't want them thinking that they have to be any different than what they are. Just be. That's it. So all of this is actually just reframing the home and the mindset towards the home. It's messy because it's alive. The home is alive. There's toys and stuff everywhere because there's kids and a family that actually live here. There's a family that's here. There's bikes, there's scooters. Yeah, there's kids here. They don't think it's weird. Kids don't think weird. That's life of a family. It's loud because you built a home and there's a family inside of that home. So these are some of the things that I tell myself when I'm walking into the home. This is what I prayed for. And this is what God has given me. A beautiful, loving home that is alive. If you've ever felt like you've been more patient with strangers than your own family, you are not alone. I've been there many times. But just remember, don't allow strangers to get the best of you. Get home and then give the rest of you to your family. Hopefully, this helps. If you found this episode helpful, share it. And please consider subscribing to the podcast. Have a wonderful week. God bless.